Hey there, welcome back to the New Student Advising online workshop. You've been doing a great job so far, and now you're over halfway done with this workshop. You'll be done before you know it. Today's module is all about placement exams. Depending on your major and whether or not English is your first language, you may need to take them now or later. We recommend watching this video in YouTube by clicking on the YouTube icon in the lower right corner so that you can use your Canvas window to follow along with your placement exam worksheet. There will also be timestamps in the YouTube description box that you can use to skip around, since this video is a long one. I promise it's all super useful, and depending on your major and situation, you might need to know all of this to best prepare for your first semester. We're going to start by making a list of all of the majors that we're considering right now. This list might be short, or it might be long, and it just depends on where we're at with our major exploration journeys. No matter where we are, it's totally fine. We'll list all the majors in this question 1 box. I'm going to look into English, marine biology, and civil engineering. Let's also take a moment to think about why we're interested in these majors and write that reflection down as well in the question 2 box. Question 3 asks about the FQ requirement, which is commonly associated with math. For some majors, there are specific courses that need to be taken to fulfill this requirement, so we'll make a list of all of these. In the Degree Requirements module, we talked about how to use the What If journey to explore multiple majors, and we also talked about how to use the Academic Essentials tab to check on requirements for those majors. So we're going to put those 2 skills to use today in order to answer question number 3. I'm going to start with the English major first. We'll start by using the What If journey to temporarily change our major to English. Then I'm going to click on the Academic Essentials tab, and then click on the FQ requirement at the top of the middle column. From this, I can see that there's no specific FQ course I need to take for this major. Now let's move on to the marine biology major, and we'll do the same steps that we did with English. I can see here that I do have specific courses that I need to choose from to fulfill this requirement. So I'm going to make a note of all of those for question 3. Now finally, we're going to do the exact same thing for civil engineering. Across these 3 majors, I have one that has no specific requirement, one that allows me to take either Math 215, 241, or 251A, and another that allows me to take Math 241 or 251A. The courses that all 3 of these majors have in common are Math 241 or Math 251A. So those are the courses I'm going to go for. Now we should check and see what the prerequisites are for those courses. This will also tell us whether or not we have to take the placement exam. To do that, I'm going to use the catalog website's Courses Overview page to search for each course. You can find this linked in the worksheet as well as in the YouTube video description. From the course descriptions, I can see that Math 241 requires Math 140, Math 215, or the placement exam. This means I need a grade of C or higher in Math 140 or Math 215 in order to take Math 241 without a placement exam. Math 251A requires a placement exam and consent, or a grade of A in Math 140. According to the Math Placement Exam webpage, I could also bypass the placement exam if I've earned certain SAT, ACT, or AP scores in math. You can find those scores listed on the informational PDF on their website. This information is subject to change. To look at the PDF, click the link in the placement exam worksheet, or you can do a browser search for UH Manoa Math Placement Exam. Then scroll down on the web page to the bottom of the page to find the list of exceptions. Since I've never taken the prerequisite courses for the calculus course that I need, and I did not fulfill the SAT or ACT score requirement to request an exam waiver, I will need to take the placement exam to get into my desired courses. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What about AP scores? Didn't you just say I could use AP scores? And yeah, let's say that I've just taken the AP Calculus exam this year. This means that my scores will not be released until July. It may take even longer for them to be sent to the university. Even if I'm feeling extremely confident that I've passed, I technically have not yet officially earned my score. Also, registration is in May. This means that I should proceed as though I did not pass just to be safe. I want to make sure that I'm holding a seat in calculus just in case I actually need it. Now I'm going to go back to the Math Placement Exam website to answer the rest of question 4. On the website, you'll find the BMAT score table somewhere in the middle, which lists scores that I need on both parts of the exam to get into Math 241 or 251A. The Math Placement Exam can be taken in person for free or online for a small fee. You can take the test once per testing period and can find those periods listed on the Math Placement Exam website. There's also a full-length practice test at the top of the website for your convenience. If you need to take this exam, be sure to book your session as soon as possible, as it will take 2 business days for your scores to reflect on your STAR account. Now let's move on to chemistry for question 5. The easiest way to check and see if your major requires chemistry is to go to the GPS registration tab and do a quick scan for the word chemistry, or Chem 161 or Chem 171. Let's do this for the 3 majors that I've specified. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything for English, so that's a no. Marine biology does show Chem 161 right here in the first semester. And engineering also shows chemistry 161 right here. The chemistry placement exam is online and it's free for all students. Students who need to take courses like general chemistry, organic chemistry, and even introductory biology do need to take this placement exam. It can be taken twice and the attempts must be at least 24 hours apart. Visit the Chemistry Placement Exam website for all of the directions to access the exam, a list of sample questions, and the required scores to answer question 6 on the worksheet. Now let's move on to question 7, which is all about non-English language placement exams. We're going to head back to the Academic Essentials tab in STAR to see if these majors require courses for the Hawaiian second language requirement and what my options are for fulfilling those requirements. You can find HSL information in the middle column towards the bottom of the top section on the Academic Essentials tab. As mentioned in a previous module, the Hawaiian second language requirement can vary pretty drastically from major to major. I can see that for the English major, I need 202 level of proficiency in a non-English language. Marine biology is showing the same requirement as English. For civil engineering, it appears I do not need a non-English language for this major, so that's definitely something I'm going to keep in mind when I'm trying to decide between these majors and also trying to decide what classes I'm going to take next semester. Some majors have different options, such as taking culture courses to fulfill the requirement or studying abroad to fulfill the requirement, so be sure to read your major's requirement really carefully. In addition, even if your major does require non-English language coursework, you might be able to take culture courses as a substitution for that requirement if you have a documented language learning disability. If this applies to you, please contact our Kokua program at kokua@hawaii.edu for more information. Since I do need 202 level of proficiency for the English and Marine Biology majors, let's move on to question 8. This is to determine if I have any experience in a non-English language so that I can use it to test into a higher level and skip a few courses. In my case, I have experience with Korean language. I can check the registration guide website to see if we have a Korean placement exam on our campus. And it turns out that we do. So I can make plans to take that and register for it if I need to. If we do not offer a language placement exam for your language, that does not mean that you can't test for it. At the end of the new Student Advising online workshop, you'll be connected with your academic advisor. At that time, you should speak with your advisor about your HSL requirement, as well as your prior experience with your language. They can help you from there. Finally, let's talk about your English language proficiency. Most students do not need to take an English proficiency exam for Manoa. However, if you are not a native speaker of English, then you will need to take one of the English proficiency exams that's accepted by UH Manoa. An example of this would be the Test of English as a Foreign Language, also known as the TOEFL. If your score on one of these tests is high enough for admission to UH Manoa, then the English Language Institute, also known as ELI, will review your scores. You will either be exempted from ELI course requirements, or you will need to take the ELI placement test to see if ELI courses would help you to be more successful in your studies here. If you do need to take the ELI placement test, you'll see an ELI hold show up on your account, which I'll show an example of right here. Acknowledge your status on question 9 and then submit your worksheet. As a reminder, you can come back and review this worksheet at any time. And that's it! You just finished the most challenging part of this entire online workshop. It should all be smooth sailing from here. All placement exam information can be found on the Office of the Registrar's Registration Guide webpage. You can find it at manoa.hawaii.edu/registrar/registration. And if you're ever uncertain about whether or not you need a placement exam, you can always check in with your academic advisor once you've completed this workshop.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the rest of our modules and helpful content by clicking the link in the video description or by visiting our website at manoa.hawaii.edu/undergrad/new student advising/online. If you have questions along the way, we're here for you. contact new.advising@hawaii.edu.